Who will win? You decide. Hey G fans, Gojifan 1000 here, and this is another Godzilla monster versus battle. And I wanted to get the two frontrunners, Godzilla 2001, also known as Ghost Godzilla, versus Shin Godzilla. And the reason why I wanted to do this battle is because it was very unique. These two Godzillas are very unique from any other regular base Godzilla. One is just a mutated disaster, like a bunch of chemicals mixed together, and the other one is just a ghost made out of World War II veterans. Not veterans, my mistake. Sorry. Just the ghosts of the Japanese people who died in World War II. Anywho, on to the front runner. Alright, I guess my favorite version of Godzilla. The third generation of Godzilla. His attacks are... He can shoot an atomic ray. Just his atomic breath. His skin is nearly impenetrable. And he can absorb energy. As you've seen, he absorbed King Ghidorah's energy and blew him to pieces. My god, he was brutal to everybody. This Godzilla was a force to be reckoned with. Nobody should ever fuck with this Godzilla. He was basically the underdog of that entire movie. Like, you saw him fight 3 Guardians. Well, he fought, like, Baragon by himself, and then he fought Mothra and King Ghidorah. Mothra and King Ghidorah are just a challenge alone for Godzilla, but when working together, then they really pose a threat. But this Godzilla doesn't seem to give a shit about anything. This Godzilla is basically just a force of nature, just leaving a path of destruction everywhere. As you've seen in the movie Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah Giant Monsters All Out Attack, this Godzilla is just ruthless, not caring about any single life form around him, just destroying anything in his path, like a murderer in a slasher movie. Basically, he is nearly impenetrable. He's not indestructible. As you see in the movie, there is that drill that does get through his skin, but only because King Ghidorah ripped a piece off of him. But yeah, this Godzilla is scary. He's threatening. Basically a terrifying Godzilla. But let's get to like the origin of this Godzilla. He was actually created from the restless spirits of the ghost. Not spirit of the ghost. I mean, like, he's the spirits of the Japanese people from World War II, and their spirits are angered. I didn't watch enough of the movie to get all the information. All I know is that these spirits are angry and want revenge, so they all combine into one giant monster. They make Godzilla, and this Godzilla isn't like a new one. This is actually the 1954 Godzilla what do you call it? I guess I'd say remastered or rebirth remastered. Yeah, I guess. So yeah, he's basically just, my god, he is just a destructive, more evil Godzilla, which I like. They made this Godzilla evil. They made him not the good guy of the film, but it was so exciting in that movie that Godzilla still won. He was the villain, and it all just went downhill the moment everybody thought that Mothra and King Ghidorah would, like, destroy Godzilla. No. Godzilla is just not somebody you want to mess with. As you see in this clip, Godzilla's laying waste to King Ghidorah. He just freaking kills everybody. And to make matters worse, he has the ability to regenerate from a single organism. Like, for example, at the ending of the movie, where Godzilla unfortunately blows himself up. I still can't understand how that happened. It had something to do with like a hole in his neck, and he had problems shooting his atomic beam. But either way, it was a malfunction. He exploded, and then just from a single piece of his heart, he could regenerate just from that. As you see, like at the ending, you see his heart beating at the bottom of the ocean, which tells you that he is still alive and that there is nothing people can do to stop him. So this Godzilla stands at about like 60 meters tall, really big Godzilla. Well, he's about the same size as 1954 Godzilla, which was probably 50 meters or 57 meters, I guess. This Godzilla's just slightly taller. He also weighs over 30,000 tons. So he's kind of heavy. Plus, yeah, he's a really strong Godzilla. He can hold his own in a fight against two monsters. And I really think he could give Shin Godzilla a run from his money on the fact that this Godzilla just doesn't give a fuck about anything. Alright, on to his opponent, Shin Godzilla himself, or Godzilla Resurgence Godzilla, I guess. But yeah, this Godzilla, he's from this year, 2016, and he stands at about 118.5 meters, weighing over 4 million tons, and his arsenal is just completely jacked. This Godzilla is the apex predator, like the pinnacle of the strength of Godzilla. So his attacks are that he can shoot his atomic breath, but it's in a purple beam, but it's almost like a narrow, solid beam, almost like a sword. It's like Gauss from Gamera. He can use his atomic breath to pierce through anything, and it can just slash anything in its path. As you've seen in the clips from the movie, it shows Shin Godzilla using his breath, and it cuts clean through solid structures such as buildings and even military tanks. Other than that, if he is getting bored with that, if he's trying to prevent an aerial attack, like if someone was going to drop a huge bomb on his back, he would bend down and he would release all his atomic energy and protrude all these beams of atomic energy. They're almost like a laser light show, and he is very persistent. He has great aim and targeting, and he can also shoot it out of his tail, which I still can't explain why. Some fans theorize that his tail is a completely different entity. People theorize that it's actually a face, and that there's like two Godzillas and one is completely active, like a two-headed snake, I guess. But yeah, another move he has, like at the ending of the movie, after Godzilla is beat, I guess. I don't know if they stopped him or not. He's just frozen, I guess. But at the end, when you look closely at his tail, it shows that he can actually reproduce asexually. It looks like he can clone himself with these like weird looking Godzillas. By the way, he's like a genetic mutation. Not genetic, but like just a mutation. Origin story. Alright, on to the winner. I think Shin Godzilla is the victor of this fight. Not because he's taller and not because he is stronger, but because he has a better arsenal and he's more indestructible than 2000 Godzilla. Now let me explain it. Shin Godzilla can take bullets, bombs, and missiles, and just anything a regular Godzilla can take. And so can 2001's Godzilla, but he is not completely indestructible. As you see in the movie, he gets drilled into his arm, and that's just one weakness that Shin Godzilla could exploit. And either way, 2001's Godzilla is incredibly strong and just completely brutal. But I think that Shin Godzilla is not really gonna care about that. He's probably gonna use those sharp teeth, bite, scratch with those tiny T-Rex arms, and just do whatever he can. And he's got the advantage with the whole atomic breath and back lasers and tail lasers. So yeah, it's inevitable that he'll win, because 2001 Godzilla, he is shorter, yes, but I also think that he might put up a fight for a little while. and he can absorb energy. He could possibly absorb Shin Gojiro's energy. Either way, in my opinion, Shin Gojira can win. Thank you guys for watching, and have a very Merry Christmas. Ho ho ho.